What if I told you that in Ho community, dead aren't just remembered, they are literally called back. Johar, this is Arpit, and today we are going to witness some incredible stories. Forged by History, Part 7. In Jharkhand, among the Ho community, death is not the end, it's the transition. And this transition involves some of the most haunting and intriguing rituals you have probably never heard of. Imagine this, your loved one dies, but their journey back home has just begun. The moment a person dies, their house is filled with keening cries, loud, heart-wrenching wails, continue until the news spreads to every relative.
My husband, you have left me. Now who shall I call the father of my son? While you lived, you worked to fill our stomachs. In hunger and thirst, you supported us and taught us what was good. When I returned from the forest with a basket of roots, now who shall I look to for comfort? Even while dying, you plowed the fields, and now you have died without eating the rice. You have left us behind to eat your labor. Your flesh is burnt, your breath is gone, and for me the earth is a deep, dark pit.
In the yard, a funeral pyre is carefully prepared with thick logs at the base, fagots laid crosswise, and then a broad wooden plank where the body will rest. The corpse, still dressed in its ornaments, is carried out by only the women, a symbolic farewell. As the body is placed on the pyre with its head facing north, rupee or whatever the family can afford are placed on its forehead. A brass pot, a lota, is placed at the feet and another at the head along with a full katora, a ritual ball. Then, in a moment of collective grief, the elders from the family, either it be son, daughter or whoever is present in the family, sets the pyre on fire. The flames rise, consuming the mortal body, while the villagers weep, chant and watch the smoke carry the soul to another life. But wait, the story doesn't end here. At night, when the embers still glow, villagers take turn watching the burning pyre, ensuring that the spirit doesn't stray. The next morning, most unsettling ritual takes place. The ashes are cooled with water poured through peepal branches, and women painstakingly pick out half-burnt bones, which are then dried, shifted through a sieve, and stored in a pot.
Turmeric is ground for all to wash in as a purification after the burial. A new pot, specially bought, in which the charred bones will be interred, is then prepared by Jintu's two widows. This will be placed in the grave alongside a few of his favorite household articles. It will then be filled with the ashes that have hung for the last week since the burning in the old family rice pot under the eaves of the house.
And here's the eerie part. The pot of bones is not buried immediately. It is hung from the back eaves of the house, covered with leaves, remaining there as a silent presence, watching over the family. 4 days later, when the family brews illy, they know it's time for the most haunting part of the ceremony, calling the spirit home. Here's what happens. At night, a pot of water and a plate of rice are placed inside the house, and ashes are sprinkled from inner room to the doorstep, a trap to catch any signs of the spirit's return. Then, the four people, either the parents or the closest relatives, step out into the darkness. With heavy plowshare in the hand, they walk to the exact spot where the body was burned. As they circle the ashes, they bang the plowshare together and call out to the spirit in a high-pitched and desperate chant. Kaling irangket niya, kaling ikaket niya, hujurun, bukit kalit poshat niya, asulit niya, esudin bukkaling niya. The above line means, we have never scolded you, never wronged you. Come home to us. The cold nights are coming. Don't leave us now. The sal tree won't shelter you from the bitter winds. Your home is waiting. They plead over and over, summoning the dead back into the house. But how do they know the spirit has returned? They check the rice, the water, the ash. If they see even the slightest disturbance, a grain moved, a water drop out of the place, they believe the spirit has entered the house. And what happens next? They sit in silence, shivering in fear. A chilling wave of realization washes them over as they accept their loved one's soul has come back. The entire village joins in crying and mourning, one last time before leaving the house in eerie silence. Days later, the time comes for the bones to be finally buried. But it's not a simple burial.
And the clan graveyard beneath the tamarind trees, prepared to take his ashes. beside his ancestors, those of his rice pot.
The family places rice, money, clothes, and brass ornament into the grave, covering it carefully before placing the huge stone over it, marking their loved one's final resting place. And here's something fascinating. A sonnet of stone, mural stone, is placed not at the grave, but at the edge of the village. Why? Because it is believed that the spirit will sit under its shade while journeying between afterlife and the home.
To fetch the gravestone, all able-bodied men of the village and his relatives from other villages go to the forest to find a stone that will please his two widows. This stone may only be moved by manpower, and it is the duty of his close relatives to help.
At night, they say, spirits return and rest beneath these stones, listening to the voices of their living kin. And I would like to add one insight. Those who die by cholera, smallpox, or by a violent death are buried, not burned. Imagine living in a world where your ancestors are truly never gone, where the rituals connect the living with the dead in a ways most of us can't even comprehend. What do you think? Is this haunting or beautiful? Would you dare to participate in the ritual like this? Tell me in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, Johar.